Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How is everyone tonight? Well, got the big ruling today. Everybody said the Supreme Court was holding up, dragging their feet. Let's see. Blumenthal called the Supreme Court a bunch of hacks. AOC wants to impeach all of them except the ones who dissented, and on it goes. So, Alan Dershowitz brought up a good point. It's something I thought of also, and I'm not a professor emeritus or whatever. I got my education out behind the barn, but he brought up a good point that most normal people should know is Congress has got immunity for their official acts that's never been questioned. So, and judges, they have immunity for their official acts within certain parameters. Can't go out and off somebody and say, "Hey, I was wearing my robe." So they all have a conniption because the president's got the same protections the other branches enjoy. It shows you how disingenuous they are and why we had to even go through this damn exercise. So anyways, I guess many of you may have seen Biden getting up, babbling Biden. Hi, Judy. How you doing? Wanda, Cliff, Lone Wolf. Hi, Kim, Debbie. Nice to see you all. So Biden came out all juiced up, and I'm sure big glowing teleprompter. And the usual crap. No man is above the law. The American people have to keep Donald Trump out to save the democracy. And all that usual tropes. So let's see. Donald Trump is going to seek revenge, get retribution, commit treason. That's what Sotomayor put in her dissent, alluding to treason and other people echoing. But let's see, Donald Trump is the only one who's going to court all the time, the only one getting a mugshot, the only one getting arrested, the only one had to leave office and didn't have his cases heard in the lower courts. Oh, but 17, 18, 22 courts ruled when the honest answer would be none of the cases were ever heard. So, when are we going to pop that big zit on the rear end of the republic, which is this continual misrepresentations and falsehoods that are core issues? When is it going to come out about, and all of them, media say the truth, that there were no election cases ever heard. No evidence was ever presented in a court of law. They were all dismissed for Trump doesn't have standing. Trump didn't file in time. The other individuals didn't have standing. This reason, that reason, nothing ever heard. So, Wayne, how you doing? Mark, how you doing? Angela, nice to see you. Yeah, TDS. It is all a side effect of TDS. Well, it's spreading to some degree. And I see these videos coming out now. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but now I don't want to vote for Biden because of the debate. Now I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm ambivalent about people like that. If it's true, it take a daggone hammer, tap you on the gourd with a ball peen hammer to get your eyeballs to open up. Are you that stupid? But I guess it can't be too rough on people. Like I said, a lot of them are on treadmill, designed and architected by a cabal to keep everybody working all the time, where they don't even know what the hell's going on, as their society's being destroyed, their culture's being altered, because they're worried about their making their light bill. So I don't know, a little cynical. Mr. T was very happy, at least what he posted in Truth. Very happy with the decision, and I thought it was a no-brainer. I thought it was a Joe Biden decision, no-brainer. And all the other branches have immunity. I thought that'd be the very least he would get. And I shouldn't say he. It isn't about Trump. It's about the institutions. Okay? It's about the branches of government and their interaction, checks and balances. Well, I mean, I would have had a question if I were debating the issue with my fellow justices. I would say, all right, well, what do you propose? What kind of system do you propose we could have to ensure that future presidents, current presidents, and past presidents don't have to worry about either an ignorant or corrupted prosecutor from issuing a warrant? How do you protect, and how can we function? How can we function without that protection? Give me an answer, Sotomayor. She had a dissent that was is going to go down in history as one of the most idiotic documents ever written. Because what are you proposing, Sonia? That we just have a faceless, nameless group somewhere that cooks up charges, and that's who runs our republic? Some unknown prosecutors, or the people that control the prosecutors, or appoint the prosecutors, or bribe the prosecutors. That's who runs the country. We don't protect the chief law enforcement officer from anything like that. Just some faceless cabal. Well, Sonia, how do you prevent some faceless cabal from running the country? Wait a minute, I don't expect you to have the answer, because one already does. And you're too stupid to see it. Hi, Google Hound, how you doing? Redhausen, how you doing? Kim. Yeah, Diana, blame Mr. T for everything. Yeah, things he hadn't even done. But another thing that these short-sighted nitwits and nincompoops don't even mention is that impeachment is absolute. Okay, it's untouched by this decision. It is a core element of the Constitution. No president is immune from getting impeached and removed from office, and they could do it very, very quickly. So we go back into the damn tropes on MSNBC about SEAL Team 6 being ordered to go do that, and you got a bunch of idiots on Twitter and elsewhere saying now's Joe Biden's chance to send a drone out for Trump since he's immune. It's an official act. Ha ha. You know, simpletons, idiots, nitwits, nincompoops. Boy, I tell you. Yeah, the 25th Amendment isn't affected either. I was listening to Dershowitz's take on it. And, of course, it's not written in stone what he says. But it is in line with current law and like with the state, somebody said, Grandma was having a bad night when she wrote that will and didn't leave me nothing. She wasn't with it. She wasn't of sound mind. Well, the bar is very low for sound mind. What's your name? Okay. Is it daytime or nighttime? Daytime. Oh, okay. They're with it. So 25th Amendment is medical. Now, if you had enough people on the cabinet, you could argue that criminally insane is a medical condition, and if a president were wanting to take SEAL Team 6 to take out their political opponents, it'd be fair to say they're criminally insane. Okay. Well, it even goes beyond that. The military doesn't have to execute unlawful orders or criminal laws. I mean, orders of criminal intent. It's like I was saying before this decision ever came out. I was saying last month or sometime earlier. If a president is giving out the orders that Supreme Court justices like Ketanji Brown Jackson or Jackson Brown, whatever her name is, with that kind of fantastical thinking, and our Congress didn't do anything, and our military didn't resist, we had a lot more problems than Donald Trump having an accountant put something on the wrong line. And the other thing about this immunity decision is that it's not changing the 11th. Trump's still got to go before Mercan and go through that clown show. And to be include as much information we've gathered from this process, Trump's really not a convicted felon until the sentencing. Remember that little dose of knowledge we got? Technically, he's not a convicted felon, Joe. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. The Supreme Court's not done yet. There's other stuff before them. The stuff we've forgotten about is stuff on the back burner, the back Brunson. Brunson burner. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But Clarence Thomas, I was listening to Megyn Kelly. She said that, I think it was Megyn Kelly, said Clarence Thomas had, in his opinion that he wrote, that the prosecutors have to have the proper standing, proper approval, have to be appointed by lawful process. He alluded to that. Jack, which of course we know from the Edwin Meese amicus brief that he's not playing according to Hoyle. He's just there. Might as well be a bum off the street, where I've been saying that for a long time. Yeah, he's probably not even a citizen. Angel, I don't know what happened to the case Mike Lindell took to the Supreme Court. I'm sure we'll be hearing about it when something happens. I haven't heard it been thrown out. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of. I see people putting up these TikTok videos and YouTube videos. Oh, I was so surprised and shocked about Biden. Well, okay. Yeah, welcome aboard, I guess. Sit down and ride the Trump train, keep your mouth shut. Yeah, that's stupid. But at least you're on board. But I should have a little bit more of a. I took a lot of work to get to this point, and I shouldn't be negative. But it's kind of like you're working with somebody who's just as dumb as a post, and you're going through a bunch of aggravation and problems because of a specific reason you've been trying to point out for years, and then things get so screwed up, they finally recognize what you've been telling them, and they go, "Hey, this is I never knew." Doesn't mean you're going to start going to lunch with them every day. You still got to work with them, though. Yeah, a citizen can't prosecute a president or a former president. They got to be appointed lawfully by the government. So, anyway, a lot of the cases are going to be moot, and we've got on the 15th is when Bannon's amicus brief by Mike Johnson is going to be going to the Supreme Court, going to be considered by the Supreme Court, wherein Johnson says that the House has, I don't know if they did it as a resolution, or I know they have, like in the Senate, they have a sense of the Senate document, what the Senate thinks. And I think the nearest thing to that the House can do is like a resolution. It is hereby resolved by the House of Representatives that the J6 committee was a bunch of crap and was not formed properly, and fruit from the poisonous tree, right? So everything that came out of that unlawfully appointed group is worthless. So we'll see where that goes. But the thing is you're going to have Peter Navarro in jail. You have Peter Navarro in jail, been in jail for months, and you have Bannon going to jail, and Trump going for sentencing and already been arrested multiple times and mugshotted. So you see how those Republicans are going to abuse their power? They're going to go after their enemies. See how they do? MS Motorsports, how you doing? Yvonne, how are you doing? I'm just looking through the chats. So anyway, when people are going to wake up to that crap? Everybody's getting charged. Everybody's getting chased. Everybody's getting persecuted. That's Republican and on Trump's side, and they constantly put through the media how Trump and his supporters are going to be persecuting others. Guess what came out today? While all this confetti's going up in the air, hi David, how you doing? All this confetti's flying up in the air. Guess what came out today? I'll see if anybody, don't be goggling nothing or checking nothing. Just go through your memory banks and your gray matter in your head. Okay, the file cabinet you have in your gray matter in your gourd, your kidneys. I'm poking the side of my head. Use your kidneys. What happened today that everybody was worried about and waiting on, and it was a center of focus for weeks, everybody speculating, and then it would go by the wayside, and a couple months later, everybody's going, oh, when are we going to get this big information? And then it disappears. People do videos on it, and it's a big deal. Well, it happens while all this stuff is going on. Let's see if anybody guesses what happened today without browsing around and cheating. Let's see if anybody gets it. And I'll do my usual da 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 dun 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 boom boom. But I'll go longer than that. This isn't Jeopardy. This is a Mountain Man quiz where people can go scratch their heads and say, "Oh, let me think about it." Miss Mendersue, how you doing? Island boy. Island boy. Now, what's the words of that song? Is that all they say is island boy? I'm an island boy. They made a bunch of money and now they're broke and I don't know, trying to do OnlyFans or something for cross dressers. I don't know what they got going on now. But how you doing, Tennessee? Did you hear me tell you thank you last night for going to buy me a coffee? I appreciate it, buddy. I look for you in the chats after I said, oh, there it is. But anyway, I appreciate it. You got some booms too. I didn't know if you were there or not. But anyway, Mark said, Island boy. And I don't know the words to that song. And Mark, when you use wordy dirge, you got to use a lowercase l for an I. I just saw your earlier comment, which I don't have them words in my chats, but you're welcome to be here, but you can't be using wordy dirge without being creative, if you know what I mean. So, Mark was close. Yvonne said Trump's immunity. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But something else has happened today. And I'll give you all a hint. It's something that happened back in 2008. 2008. That everybody was all, yeah, that's how you spell island boy. Example. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mark. So, what happened in 2008? What happened? Everybody was going, boy, when we get this information, wow. A lot of people are going to be in big trouble. Oh, they don't want this information to get out. Yeah, the market took a beating, didn't it? After Biden's little show. What about his little mini press conference where he came out and gave a well-rehearsed, very medicated condemnation of a run-of-the-mill decision? And I'm shocked Amy Coney Barrett went over there to the side of Sotomayor. How come Congress has immunity? Judges have sovereign immunity. Nancy Pelosi has sovereign immunity. Adam Schiff has sovereign immunity. and Donald Trump doesn't. Or the president, I'll put it that way, the president. How come the president's the only one of the three branches, the executive branch, that's got to sit there and deal with a bunch of Nazgul prosecutors wandering around the night riding black horses with hoods over their heads, going around dreaming crap up and menacing members of the executive? Why the hell is that? What's Amy Coney Barrett thinking? But like I said, Mr. T's happy with it. Rick, how you doing? Nice to see you. Diane said the Russians in 2008. Yeah, it always collapses with the housing market. David said, okay, spill it. Well, we just got about an extra 30 people in since when I brought it up. You know, we go an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half sometimes. And, you know, we get new people in, so we might get another 30 people in. So for the new people that came in, something happened today, and no goggling, no flicking around through YouTube channels looking, and none of that crap. No cheating. What happened today? There was a couple of months ago was a huge deal. Everybody was waiting for 6 months before. That was a huge deal, and it's really going to expose people. And you watch what happens when this stuff comes out. And the information gets released today, and nobody bats an eye because we're dealing with immunity. We're dealing with Steve Bannon going to jail, and Joe Biden, whether or not he's going to step down. What could it be? No, it was 2008 when this stuff happened. Yes, Bill says it's free to like this show. Ha ha, hit the like button. Aha, Mark got it. Mark got it. Jeffrey, Island boy. Florida court released the documents of the secret grand jury that was conducted in 2008, that where Epstein was initially charged. And they said it was disturbing. The details were disturbing and disgusting, and used all these terms. And there will be some videos coming out. They just started putting videos out on it as I was preparing my broadcast. But what was disgusting? Yeah, there were 14-year-olds involved. Multiple counts, okay, of abuse. But what's also being disclosed is that the prosecutors in front of the grand jury were bashing the victims. 14-year-old, 15-year-old, showing their Facebook photos. We're talking minors. We're talking 9th and 10th grade kids at the time. Saying, you got tattoos. Look at you. You drink. Look at you. Don't you think you were doing something wrong? Well, wait a minute now. This is the prosecutor talking to the victim. Don't you realize that what you were doing was prostitution? Or somebody who was victimized at the age of 14, and that's the prosecutor doing that? At least that's the sensation I got. Was one of the disgusting things out of the grand jury records. That's what was released. Grand jury records of Epstein's first prosecution in 2008, which resulted in an illegal plea deal, which was reversed by Donald J. Trump. The person who struck the plea deal was a member of Trump's cabinet, the labor secretary, right? You can look it up. He got fired with cause because he approved an illegal plea deal. They rearrested under Donald Trump. They rearrested Jeffrey Epstein, and the ball went rolling from there. And I'll get into that on another broadcast where they stalled New York prosecutors, okay, which is what he's dealing with right now, stalled picking up Ghislaine Maxwell for years until Trump fired one of them. And immediately upon his replacement taking office, she was arrested, and she's got 20 years in the joint. So that little story you can tell to all the mouth-breathing TDS freaks saying Trump's got something to do negative in a negative way, criminal way with Epstein. If it wasn't for Trump, Epstein still be free, and Maxwell would have never been charged. He is the sole impetus, okay, for his rearrest and conviction and for Ghislaine's arrest and conviction. But they dumped all this stuff out. It's pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of it. So we'll see what comes out. And that's just stuff off the top of my head, folks. That's why I say repetition is what they do to us. That's why for 8 years, more than that, it's Trump, 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 down Trump, 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 all negative, all the time, all day, all night, on all the mainstream media. So our friends and neighbors think Trump is a bad person through repetition and repeating blather. A fire hose of lies. No one is above the law. Yeah, unless you're in Congress. Yeah, unless you're part of the judiciary. But not Donald Trump. But I repeat stuff. So when I run across a mouth-breathing simpleton with TDS who tries to throw stuff in my face about Epstein, I can tell him just what I told you all. And I don't got to bat an eye because it's in my skull. All right, not in my phone. Wait a minute. I don't go, wait a minute. You want to argue with me? Let me go get my phone. I got to find this video from, I think it was 6 months ago. I watched a video, had something about that. No, I got it in my gourd, my kidneys, right? I'm poking the side of my head again. Get it in your kidneys. And maybe I'll do little condensed videos that show the emails where Bill Barr told this prosecutor, you're being transferred somewhere else, which was a nice way of saying you're not doing your job. We're putting you somewhere else. And this prosecutor was stalling arresting Maxwell. Said, I have no intentions of leaving where I am now in the Southern District of New York. I intend to fully complete my work. And then Bill Barr sent him an email and said, all right, well, then you're fired. How about that? Pack up your crap and get out of your office. And within a week, 2 weeks, they picked up Ghislaine. Where was she? Up in the Hamptons or some damn where, in some mansion on an acreage somewhere where the phone's wrapped in tinfoil. Remember that? It's like we all do that, right? Get the Reynolds wrap out and wrap your phone up 5, 6, 7, 8 times and look out the window with your teeth chattering. That's what she did when that prosecutor got fired. She knew protections were removed. Now, to be fair to that labor secretary that Trump took out of his position, in other words, fired, allowed him to resign however you want to word it. His defense was he was told, I'm using air quotes, told by the intelligence services that he belonged to the intelligence services. Leave him alone. And what I got out of that is that this former labor secretary under Trump, who was installed in there to prevent Trump from, I guess, where they thought Trump wasn't going to go there because it was his labor secretary they installed that participated in this illegal plea deal 10 years earlier, that Trump would leave him alone, but he didn't. But Trump gave him a break because he was saying in so many words that he was threatened by the intelligence services. That's why he did it. And he cooperated and he told them who was involved. So Trump gave him his dignity, okay? Let him keep his dignity, but he couldn't keep his job. That's a leader. That's somebody that does what needs to be done. No more, no less. No vindictiveness, just getting to the truth. Do you all remember me talk about that stuff? Hi, sissy. Or, no, she had it wrapped in her bedroom there in, I keep wanting to say the Hamptons. She was upstate somewhere up in the Northern Territories. Hi, Gary, how you doing? Ravens. Pappy Two Bears. So, but anyway, that's the reason why we discuss these things. Because you can really make a Hollywood movie out of it. And there's going to be a movie made out of it. But it ain't going to be by Hollywood. Not the Hollywood as we know it. Maybe the Mel Gibsons and Ricky Gervais and people like that will participate, along with a lot of up-and-coming talent that's serving in the military and telecommunications and media and Ghosts in the Machine. I don't know. They're going to put together a documentary that's going to play worldwide. Did you know that the last... I'm not a whiz on these antenna things, but there's a guy got a channel called The Antenna Man. And Gary, since you're in the chat, you'll know this. They kept VHF channels, okay, like we used to have, where you could get a TV and you got an antenna. You could go to Lowe's, you could go to True Value Hardware, or you could go Western Auto. Remember those Western Autos? And buy an antenna and get up on the roof and strap it to the chimney. Remember that? Run a wire down and tie it to the back of the TV and watch your channels. And they were VHF and UHF channels. Well, the Antenna Man, I think it was last year, he was talking about how there were some remaining VHF channels out there, VHF frequency, and some of them were in Alaska. It was one of the last places to lose the VHF. And when we went to high definition television, when they started doing the Obama box giveaway, remember? Obama boxes when you bought high definition televisions, and when they did away with a lot of the stations' uh, power uh, ranges and things like that, we had to go to the HD. But anyway, part of you says, well, that's for nefarious purposes so they can control everything over the internet, over the interwebs, over frequencies that they have constant access to. I don't know. Could be that they did that way ahead of time when they knew there was going to come a day when the alliance, and people can make fun of me if they want, you know, I'm thinking there's an alliance of worldwide military police action countries that are participating in a what did Lindsey Graham say? Reset. Not the way they want. A liberation reset. And that we have this Obama might have been thinking, oh, I'll give away these phones and I'll get more votes, and I could send my propaganda messages right to everybody's pocket, get everybody hooked on these damn things, and eventually monitor every penny everybody ever gets and spends, and eventually do social credits. Yeah, just like my Chinese communist heroes. But maybe it was put in place by the ghosts in the machine for the day when we have 8-hour broadcasts 3 times a day over and over and nothing else available, where you have to watch the biggest event in world history, not just American history, a biblical level event that concerns all mankind. And unless you live in a tribe in the Amazon, which there's not even very many of those left, maybe 2, and I'm sure they won't care either way, you'll be watching this recap of why we have all these people going on trial. New Hampshire's where she was. That's where Maxwell got her 150-acre estate for $1 million. There's nowhere you can buy a beautiful home on 156 acres anywhere in this country. Well, I could go to West Virginia and find something for $1 million or maybe somewhere, but not in New Hampshire. Who gave her that discount? Yeah, a coat hanger. Does that still work, Gary? Can you still get, I think you can still get UHF channels. But Antenna Man knows all about that stuff. And he's got all kinds of videos. He took some of them down because they demonetized him. I mean, he's a nerd. I don't mean to insult him, but I mean it in a nice way. He's a techno nerd about antennas, and they went after his channel last month. I don't know, maybe he was telling tales he shouldn't have been telling. Maybe he was telling tales he shouldn't have been telling. Antenna Man. And it's a shame he took down so many videos. I think he said he took down 50 to 100 videos. But a lot of them was telling people in what areas they could get programming the old way. And what was the best devices to buy? Perfectly legitimate. And they didn't demonetize his channel and said he was getting some kind of unrealistic traffic or something. I don't know what it was. But anyway, just for giggles, if you're into that kind of stuff, check him out. I'm not plugging him. I don't even know him, but I found it fascinating how I watched him over the years, and he was talking about how they were getting rid of our old way of watching TV. But in third world countries where people don't have flat screen TVs, they don't have cell phones, they still use TVs like we used to have. And as many of you know, I still have a console TV. I like to watch Bonanza on. Okay, it's like you guys know, it's a TV in the center, and the rest of it looks like a bureau. And if you open the lid, it's got a record player in it. But anyway, a lot of countries still have that type of broadcasting, and this anticipated round the clock broadcasting. What I just told about Epstein, a small thread of the story from 2008 till the time of her arrest, and the subplot is like a Hollywood movie. Just a bit I told. Then you got these other stories branching off about him going to prison and how he, what really happened to him. You talk about a movie somebody's going to want to tune into, and what was actually going on the island. All that stuff gets released. The starting shot, on your mark, set, go, bang. That was 2008 when they arrested Epstein. And Ghislaine Maxwell having a helicopter license, having a certification for submarines, and talking to the UN, giving speeches 17 times. I can't remember where she claimed when she was in court. She claimed she was from a certain country that nobody ever heard of. Remember that, folks? And when she would give her addresses to the UN, she would claim this as a country. I wonder if the UN has that listed as a country. And do they get money from the UN? I don't know, because she kept saying it. Tara, does anybody know what Ghislaine, and you can goggle this if you want to, if you go off of the regular goggle and you go to Bing-a-ling or Duck Schmuck, Schmucky Schmuck Go, or whatever. I can't say those words because I get singled out. And if you find the name of the country she said she was from, it's some made-up name that she says with a straight face. And that is in her filings at court and what she testified to. Let's see if anybody saw that. It just hit me. I'm wondering, does the UN think of that place that Ghislaine Maxwell talks about and others have talked about? Terra Beautifilia or something like that. Aqua Terra. Holy cow. Gary. Wow. Stop by, buy me a coffee. I appreciate it, Gary. Boom, boom, boom for Gary. Jaza, is that what it was? Terra Mar. Yeah, check into that, folks. These people, I guess it booms for Gary. Stop by, buy me a coffee. These people extorting, blackmailing every individual that works in any important position in every government around the world. If you think of it that way. Ha ha, Miss Bender through Raven's wings. Boom, boom, boom. We got a lot of booms, Gary. Terra Mar. I wonder if I better take a screenshot of that so I can look it up myself. I'm wondering if they don't somehow, these creatures that are involved in that, do they really get some kind of consideration maybe from the UN? You know how they divvy money up. They give foreign aid for humanitarian projects. Because don't you know, in Texas, the Supreme Court, I'm just bringing this up, how these lunatics can take something hideous and evil and make it sound like they're doing the world a favor. In Texas, they were performing certain types of surgeries and giving certain types of hormones to people who are underage, right? You know what I'm talking about. Sensitive subject. To protect them because they're grandstanders and people pick on them. So we got to do it secret and keep it from the parents. Well, rational human beings passed a law in Texas saying you can't do that. You're going to go to jail if you do it. Well, a lunatic judge struck that down. A lunatic judge. And the Supreme Court got a hold of it, Texas Supreme Court, and blew it out of the water saying, no, it is a good law. It stands, and overturned that nitwit appellate court and lower court. 8-1. There was one judge on the Supreme Court of Texas that said it is okay to do those types of things to underage kids. Of course, under the guise that they're the good ones protecting the so-called, I'll say it one time, transgenders, okay? And keep it from their parents. That's another example where I think these courts are going through a test right now. And we're going to be getting rid of these people. You can't break the law. You can't experiment on young people as opposed to the word child, which ding. But anyway, it's criminal. And just because the newspapers, magazines, media, politicians that haven't passed a law to the contrary say it's okay and try to twist the body politic into thinking it's okay, doesn't make it okay. Like Clarence Thomas said, North will always be North. South will always be South. No matter where you turn your body, or no matter where you point your finger, no matter how many times you deny it, that's the way it is. That's right, Raven's Wings. Just misspell it next time. The MUTIL. I see, I can't say that word. So misspell it, or you just use different letters for vowels, and I don't think it'll hurt one time. Yeah, Mr. T put something out about Pig Losey. Yeah, she looked drunk to me. She always looked drunk. I've got a 45-inch TV with a tube in it? I have to measure that thing. It is a monster. You need a forklift to move that damn thing. But anyway, Mr. T even commented on her. But just for this Epstein grand jury transcripts came out. I just want to read a couple of things real quick. The prosecutor. Epstein grand jury records reveal prosecutors accused underage minors, teen victims of committing crimes. And this was a channel called WPBF. And I got some screenshots where the prosecutor said to one of the girls, "Don't you think you were actually being criminal yourself? Don't you think it was wrong for you to have tattoos and piercings and take these Facebook pictures with your friends when you're 14? Yeah. Prosecutor, so he didn't make her do anything she was uncomfortable with. Well, a juror stepped in, and one juror and said, perhaps you were too young to go up against a man of that age who had more control over you and that you knew? And she said, yes. One juror stood up for the younger girl, while the prosecutor was trying to bash the girl in front of the jury, or girls in the plural. They were in the bag. The prosecutors were in the bag for Epstein. So the juror said, do you feel it's wrong of him to take advantage of your youth? And the victim said, yes, I do. And then the juror said, and did he take away from you your person, your being, your spirit? And the victim said, yes. So it had to be a juror speak up and talk to the victim with compassion and understanding of what that person was going through when they were 14 and 15 years old, while a prosecutor who was supposed to be sticking up for the victim was bashing him. And hadn't it been vogue for 20 or 30 years to not blame the victim? What happened there? So we're going to get the names of these prosecutors. We're going to be checking bank accounts. Kind of like with Maggie Haberman. Yeah, trust funds, stuff like that. So anyway, U.S. President Joe Biden addresses the press on the findings of former President Donald Trump's Supreme Court immunity case. He's all jacked up. He's all coked up. He comes out. They ironed his face, okay? They wound up the spring, gave him a big shot in the ASS, and he came out with the no person is above the law. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States, Mr. Biden said. Today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity that fundamentally changed for all practical purposes. Today's decision almost certainly means there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle and a dangerous precedent. Yes, But I will say, the presidency is just as much protected as Congress and the judiciary. They all have immunity anyway. And the only one I heard bring that up, is, besides me, is Alan Dershowitz. So it is not fundamentally changing squat. Because I tell you what, if you'd have tried to arrest Abraham Lincoln and put him under charges while he was prosecuting the Civil War, if you tried to do that with Andrew Jackson, you'd been marched off the gallows, okay? And I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. Well, Andrew Jackson, he might have said, well, never mind, I'll take care of this, and done it himself. So this is Charlie Kirk. He was up with Megyn Kelly. He didn't say much, but Justice Clarence Thomas, yeah, it was Megyn Kelly's program, issues warning to Jack Smith in Trump immunity ruling. And that's where Sotomayor made her treason comment. Oh, real quick before I get off this, did you hear about the World? This came out today too. The World Economic Forum is in turmoil. Do you guys know why? Now I don't know who's going to do anything about it. Nobody's going to talk about it. We will. Maybe it'll catch on. I don't know. Klaus Schwab, accused of S3 sexual harassment. That was streamed about 3 hours before I came live. Klaus Schwab, behind Davos, claims of a toxic workplace. So Klaus Schwab might be getting sued, and the World Economic Forum's got to deal with that. They're a private entity, and I don't know how that's going to work out. But talk about a bunch of hypocrites. And they're saying that he personally harassed women. And they fired women who were supposed to be getting maternity leave. So there's going to be all these economic hammers being dropped as far as lawsuits. If he's even around, I saw that. So yeah, he might be gone. But then I saw another article in the UK, and if I got any more UK viewers, verify this for me. And I know they'd censor you all, so be careful. But I heard there was a moratorium. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. A moratorium. No more visas for Palestine, Lebanon, and other Islamic countries. UK crackdown on Islamists. And there's a video on it. That's a big deal. That means, like my Saruman meme, the world is changing. Prosecutors knew that Epsteinio graped, they used the word on Utizzle, graped teenage girls 2 years before cutting a deal. Epstein grand jury testimony released. There's going to be more coming from that. A lot of people broke the law, prosecutors, okay? That's something I wasn't aware of, but I had it in my U.S. Marshals fined 200 missing children in a 6-week operation. That's under a thing called Vargas Reports on UTISL. News Nation. Missing kids face trafficking, violence, risk. Missing children cases, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children, there's over 29,000 cases. They claim to have resolved 25,000. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that too. But we've had a lot of stories coming out just from Florida about trafficking, rings being busted, hundreds of kids being saved. So how many across the states? And is that accelerating? Bill Barr came out on Fox News about the immunity thing. Now, I don't think they'll have him on CNN or MSNBC. He pretty much rode that lightning bolt in the ground, where he built a narrative or a perception, that he was against Trump. And since he built that perception, they put him on MSNBC and CNN, and he said stuff they didn't like. But they're on to him now, so they just put him on Fox News. And he comes out and says, the Supreme Court's opinions, all of them, the J6 and the immunity and others, have been, quote, bang on. Exactly right. They don't want to hear that. Let me see what's going on in the chats. Well, yeah, dark coming light. I tell you that the media has been shamed. Well, you can't shame those damn people, but they've been exposed. And I will say, oh, Ravens, I'm sorry to hear that. Huh. I don't know how that works. For some people, it works just fine on Buy Me a Coffee. Maybe they takes them a minute to verify the card if it's never been used before, or if you don't. I don't know if you have to register who you are or what. I don't know. Anyway, we got to keep hammering home that we knew Biden was decrepit for years. And that's the thing about dementia. It usually takes from the time of diagnosis, they say it's a average to their expiration, okay? Or getting to the point of, being totally gone. Bedridden, bedpan, all that kind of stuff, is 5 to 7 years. Takes about 5 to 7 years. And 10 years on the outside. Very rare people go from the time of diagnosis 10 years. The only one I'm aware of that made it 10 years was Reagan. So he was diagnosed well after he left office. I've discussed how they try to sully his legacy. He lived to 98? They try to sully his legacy by saying he was suffering from it while he was in office, and that's crazy. It's wrong. I showed you all the video where he had a one-on-one press conference with 4 prominent news anchors. no notes, no script, no teleprompter, sitting in the Oval Office with 4 hostile news anchors and gave an interview for an hour and a half? A person with any level of dementia could not do that. So he made it about 10 years. He was riding a horse. They say what triggered Reagan's illness was when he got thrown from a horse about 4 years after he left office, I believe, and hit his head very badly. They had to stitch his head up. They had to shave the sides of his head. And his daughter said he couldn't ride horses anymore. He was like 85 or 84. And he said, no, he winked at the reporter. Yeah, okay, honey, I'll listen to you. And he winked at the reporter like he was going to keep riding. But about 3 years after that throw from the horse is when he got diagnosed, and he went a whole 10 years before he passed. Now, the reason I'm saying that, and I'm bringing it up, one, to preserve Reagan's legacy, but more importantly, to discuss what's going on with Biden. He's falling in the window of the average person coming for a crash landing. And that was obvious debate night. He's got about, on the outside, I'd say, within 24 months, he's going to be gone. And that's not a wish or ghoulish notion. I'm just saying, if you play the averages, if he's on the, he's got the best medical care. He was probably diagnosed in 2018. If he goes about 8 years, I don't think he could go as long as Reagan. 7 years, it's close. Unless, hey, that could be a rubber face, Yeah, cattle. I got a farmer joins my property. He gets 2 times a year. He gets new cattle in, give them their shots, check them all out, lets them graze, raises them. Well, 3 years from a hospice perspective. Well, you look at Jimmy Carter. Speaking of which, Mr. T put out a dog comm. Did you all see it? Every dog has his day. Now, I know when dog comms come out with Scavino that they're important, but when Mr. T himself puts out a dog comm, he put out a lot of comms. I should have been going over his comms in these articles. Here's AOC calling for vowing to file impeachment against the Supreme Court. Good luck with that, you little communist. And I have the reactions from different pundits about the Supreme Court decision. They're lengthy. I'll read them on another broadcast. But Sotomayor, that's right, Raven Wings. He said they took the top of his head off. Joe Biden said that. I heard a story about that years ago, about that operation he had on that aneurysm. But anyway, I've always said if Donald Trump is happy, I'm happy. Remember me saying that if Donald Trump is happy, I'm happy? Well, Donald Trump came out and said, The Supreme Court decision is much more powerful, one that some had expected it to be. This is in all caps. It is brilliantly written and wise, and clears the stench from the Biden trials and hoaxes, all of them, that have been used as an unfair attack on crooked Joe Biden's political opponent, me. Many of these fake cases will disappear or wither into obscurity. God bless America. So that is a very positive and upbeat take from Mr. T. He's very happy. So I'm happy if he's happy, because he's the man in the arena. Today's historic decision by the Supreme Court should end all of crooked Joe Biden's witch hunts, including the New York hoaxes, the Manhattan scam cooked up by Soros-backed DA Alvin Bragg, racist New York Attorney General Tish James, his shameless attack on the amazing business I built, and the fake Bergdorf case, air quotes, case. Proud to be an American. Now, this is the one that's kind of lengthy, where he says the dog word. And remember what was going around when McCain, McStain. I can't keep doing that. We don't say his name. McStain passed, they had dog comms. Well, only three things, this is Trump, could have been the reason that crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, failed so badly at the debate Thursday night. The only three reasons why Biden failed so bad, this is according to Trump. Number one, Trump was really great. In all fairness, and I say in complete and total modesty, many on both sides of the political spectrum have said it was the greatest single debate performance in a long and storied history of presidential debates. Thank you. Number two, in all caps, and this is a dog com, Joe Biden choked, crooked Joe, choked like a dog. Number two, and that's it. No other comments, all caps, crooked Joe, quote, choked, unquote, like a dog. Okay. And then number three starts off in all caps. Joe is a cognitive mess. It should be the combinations of all three. But ask yourself this question. As a proud citizen of the United States of America, which no longer means a thing to many, as millions of people flow into our country totally unchecked and unvetted, would you rather have a president who is a choker? Would you rather have a president who is a cognitive mess? Ask yourself that question. Also, did my debate performance play a role in Joe's total, quote, this word, disembowelment before the world? Our fake historians over at CNN and MSNBC would like to know which of the three. Man, it's a wonder they didn't bring up he used the word disembowelment. So let's see what else he had. The question every voter should be asking themselves today is not whether Joe Biden can survive a 90-minute debate performance, but whether America can survive 4 more years of crooked Joe Biden in the White House. The fact is, I don't know if he can survive 5 more months. We are in great danger during what will be a transition period. We have never been so close to World War III before, and this will be a war like no other. That's pretty big stuff right there. So Crazy Nancy, next time I do a picture show, I'm going to play that video where Nancy talks about the wrap-up smear. I'll play that towards the beginning of the video while people are filing in for the chats for my new subscribers who've never seen that. She describes exactly how they all get together to do a wrap-up smear. But anyway, she looked drunk. She looked disoriented. She had her eyebrows on top of her head. And Donald Trump said, crazy Nancy Pelosi, who the other day was exposed by her daughter, a filmmaker, as being fully responsible for the lack of security on January 6th, is, in my opinion, more cognitively impaired than Crooked Joe. Of course, we heard Nancy saying that Trump needs to step down and he's cognitively impaired. I just watched her do an interview and she was way, quote, off. Additionally, she's suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS, and her case is terminal. Uh-oh. Is that a calm? And he finishes up, get this, folks. This is how he finishes. He says her case is terminal and her case is terminal. She is a sick, quote, puppy and always has been. Another dog calm. A sick puppy. And Joe choked like a dog. Yeah, I hope it's not really him, Gary. Yeah, that's right, Lone Wolf. How you doing, Lone Wolf? Yeah, there were a lot of nurses that were saying, I work with dementia patients all the time. I'm telling you, I got nothing against anybody. I'm just telling you, as a nurse, I know what I'm looking at. But I just now caught that second dog calm. I'm slipping. Raymond Arroyo, he's a nice guy that comes on Fox News sometimes. I think he comes on with Laura Ingraham. Raymond Arroyo said the Democratic Party chaos that has been unleashed in the wake of the debate catastrophe is like nothing we've seen in modern politics. The fallout is astonishing, with Dem leaders calling for a replacement and the Biden family calling for firings. For Biden, the new polls are catastrophic. Catastrophic new polls. And, well, Bill O'Reilly put out last night, I talked about it. Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly said that the decision was made for Biden to step down. And now they're saying that he's going to stay. You had Steny Hoyer, you had Chuck Schumer, you had Nancy Pelosi, you had Clyburn. All these top Democrats are calling for Joe to stay. So let's see what happens with that. That's a far cry different from what everybody was talking about last night. Dr. Ben Carson said, I mean every word of it. At Real Donald Trump, the media continues to spread lie after lie about your campaign and time in office while covering up everything under the sun for the disastrous Biden White House. They have proven they are the enemy of the people. Keep up the fight. So I'm glad to see that talk coming out too. Enemy of the people. Hi, Jerry. How you doing? Oh, my God. She was screaming, wasn't she? Yeah, Cyborg, I agree. Did you see that I put a thing up where they put human skin on a robot's face to make its smile look more real. Well, Miss Sue, it was hard to see his eyes because he squinted so much. Angela, you still in the chat? She went to buy me a coffee. Thank you, Angela. Let me see. I can't go back but so far. Angela gets some booms. We're going to buy me a coffee. Oh, thank you so much. Ha ha ha. Well, Lone Wolf, did you get to rub it in a little bit with your young'uns? Don't argue with your parents when they know what they're talking about. Ha ha ha. Well, another thing, people, they haven't mentioned a word of this on regular media. And I see a bunch of people have dropped off. I don't know why. Maybe they don't like me reading stuff. But the judge that sent Steve Bannon to jail is the same judge Trump is going before on the 11th. Judge Merchan. Same one. Judge Merchan. I am really looking forward to how they're going to handle somebody in a judgeship that behaves the way Merchan behaves. This can't go unaddressed. But Merchan's the one who sent Steve Bannon to jail, is the same one Trump has to go before on the 11th. And Bannon said, I'm proud to go to prison if this is what it takes to stand up to tyranny. He gave a press conference. If this is what it takes to stand up to the Garland corrupt criminal DOJ, if this is what it takes to stand up to Nancy Pelosi, if this is what it takes to stand up to Joe Biden, I'm proud to do it. Starting to learn. He's 19. Good. Yeah, you can't trust these screwballs. And I don't even know what is a word I can use that will not violate my own policies. So I got some tweets I'm going to put up next time I do a picture show where they call for Trump to be droned by Biden. And all these people, you talk about taking accounts down, but Mika Brzezinski was talking about Donald Trump is the one who should step down. They coordinate just like with Nancy Pelosi, using the same thing. Donald Trump has dementia. Midas Trash Network. Donald Trump has dementia. Here's an article I made a comment on. This is why you need fathers. Get a load of this. This is on Citizens Free Press. A 23-year-old Bronx teacher's aide sends a love letter to a 10-year-old student. The stepfather finds the letter and goes to school and punches a teacher. Well, as from that report, I am the father, and they've arrested that 23-year-old for writing a love letter to a 10-year-old girl. That's why you need fathers. And I said that a long time ago. Some of the stuff was going on when I was a kid. My dad would have, wow. And nobody would have locked him up either. The New York Times reports Biden's family tells him to keep fighting as he huddles at Camp David. President Biden is trying to figure out how to tamp down Democrat anxiety after last week's disastrous debate performance. Well, he's out now and he's at the White House. Well, I got a good picture of Trump in a crowd I might use for a thumbnail. But if I use Trump in a positive light on a thumbnail, they definitely don't show the video around. They're not showing this one around. Oh, somebody passed away in the gulag, huh? They're supposed to be required. If somebody has a illness like that. We'll see television shows. We'll see if anybody puts a hand on him. Remember, they're trying to provoke us. And I think Mr. T is in very good hands with the military. Steve Bannon, every federal officer that had anything to do with putting people in prison for a made-up felony, come the afternoon of January 20th, 2025, check your passport and follow McCabe out of the country. McCabe was on CNN babbling about this Supreme Court decision. You can tell he's scared. And I'm glad to see it. I want to see him squirm. Andrew McCabe, he's one of the first one, the big ones. Well, I got stuff going on over in Europe. I'm going to tell you that real quick, and I'll talk about it in a picture show broadcast. Finland is allowing the U.S., they're going to loan the U.S. bases, okay? Finland is not part of NATO. They're right up there on the border with near Russia, and allies that are not part of NATO. It's a violation of past treaties with Putin, and it's another step toward a broader war breaking out in Eastern Europe. So keep that in mind, along with the raising the threat level at bases we shouldn't even be at anyway. Finland will open 15 of its military bases for possible use by U.S. forces. The parliament unanimously approved the corresponding defense agreement between the countries. That's going to be a big problem. Oh, I got some stuff I'll save for the next one. So anyway, wow, we're going over an hour and a half. Well, I appreciate Angela and Gary for helping sponsor tonight's program. I really do. Yeah, I saw a protest crowd in Venezuela. I got pictures of that. I'll show that, Angela. Did I hear one of the ladies in Georgia arrested for cheating? Well, I'm sure. We're hearing from different states things come out. How you doing, Phil? That's right. Television shows, they want to strike first because we're the people in the forest and in the hills. Training up in the hills. Yeah, in the mountains with Mountain Man. Yeah, is Todd helped me out last night or night before last, along with Mike and Bev. I want to thank them, and Cameraman and Miss Mindersue. Lone Wolf's helped out in the past also. I want to thank everybody. And Roland, I don't know where he's at, and Richard. So I thank you all very much for helping out. But anyway, I should be broadcasting tomorrow. Yeah, and Wednesdays I don't usually broadcast, but I go with the flow, how things go. If something big happens, and other things where I may have to go a little while without broadcasting, depending on a doctor's appointment. We'll see. Anyway, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. We can all get together and shoot the bull. And I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. Please think about giving me a thumbs up on your way out if you haven't given me a thumbs up yet. I do appreciate it. It helps the video get around. All right, folks. You all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.